Welcome to the Lancashire Lab podcast and my football show, Balls to It. Every week we discuss a new topic regarding the football world and you are entitled to your opinion as well. If you think we are talking bollocks, you are more than happy to tell us. Leave your comments below, keep them nice though, and of course interact with the team. We want to hear your opinion. Thank you very much for subscribing and we'll see you soon. Welcome to the Lancashire Lab podcast and this week's episode of Balls to It. We are talking about one of the current topics in the football world as the Premiership nears to an end, who has been the signing of the season. So I am joined once again by my famous three, Alex Taylor, Craig Stanley and Tony Lewis. How are we, lads?
Good, lads,
yeah. Good.
Yeah, very good. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm after. I'm looking for excitement. So it's nice to see you all, and we're going to kick off straight away with who your signing of the season has been. Now, you can mention three. We'll say mention your top three maybe, but we want to know who is your signing of the season. So we're going to go straight over to Alex Taylor. Alex, reveal all.
Right, so my three would be, my third would be Jota, going to Liverpool. I think it was a great signing. We all knew what he could kind of do at Wolves anyway, but as soon as he went in, they kind of talked about where he'd place and everything like that. But I think he's shown that he can fit in with Liverpool. My second one has got to be Cavani. I know he's just scored now. If anyone's watching the game,
that's where your decision.
No, do you know the thing is about it? And I think we've all been like that in the Premier League when a worldie comes over. And I think it was the same with Ibra. The amount of times that we had that conversation about how good he was, and we were sharing stuff with each other. And when he came over, I think to have someone of that magnitude, you know, and they talk about age, don't they, all the time? And he's proving that age is not a thing. The way that the players talk about him, the way he stretches, the way he trains, and he does everything on that pitch. And I think the other day, you know, with the Mason Greenwood situation and the way he stood up for his teammates, and he sets an example. And I'm a fan of him anyway, but so yeah, he would be my number two. But my number one, it may be a surprise, but I'm going for Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa.
Ollie Watkins.
Miss Ellie Mers.
Obviously, as a Burnley fan, you've got to take note of Championship players because they're the only ones we'll sign. But he's had a great season prior in the Championship, and coming into Villa, you know, this season he's really stood out, getting 15 goals in his first season in the Premier League, and also getting his England cap and scoring on his debut. But I think he's a really good centre forward. I think he drops into channels. He's got pace. He links up play really well. He can drop deep as well. And I think he's only going to get better, him. And obviously Villa have had a really, really good season this season. But I think he's been one of the standout players, really. And the age thing as well. So he would be my number one, Ollie Watkins.
I heard Dean Smith today talking about him, saying that he knew, because he signed him for Brentford as well, didn't he, from the lower levels, so he knew exactly what he was getting. So he saw potential there. So fair play to him for doing that.
Yeah, well, it was 28 million, you know, it's a lot of money, you know, and he did it at Exeter. He scored quite a lot of goals from them and then went to Brentford, you know, and Burnley were in for him. But obviously, you know, 28 million's a lot of money, you know, on a striker from the Championship, but he's proving it right. I just think, you know, who's to tell where he'll go from here, but I think with the England caps and things as well, that may help him. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, right. So Diego Jota in third. Second was Cavani, and first Ollie Watkins. Well, that's a nice three there. Nice three, if I don't say so myself. So, Craig Stanley, good evening, my friend. How are you?
Hello, Stu. How are you?
I'm good, mate. We've been busy this week, me and you, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We have talking a lot of nonsense as normal. Do you know what I mean? So This next 20 minutes, half an hour will be the same.
Yeah, you're like my little confidant at the minute. Okay, so who's your top three?
Number 3 is Jesse Lingard. I think Tony, obviously being a United fan, seeing the way he's played over the years, I just think the way he's gone to West Ham and probably even got his levels higher, I think, than what he achieved and the way he played at Man United. I think he's got a point to prove. I think the way he's gone into that West Ham team and the way he's played, setting up goals, scoring goals, that fitness as well, being obviously an ex-footballer, not playing that amount of football like he has, coming straight back into the Premiership, which must be tough to keep your fitness levels at the levels that they need to be. And he looks like he's not missed the game the way he's played for West Ham. And I just think he's made West Ham a much better team and obviously transformed them in a way that West Ham needed to get a few more goals, a bit more energy in their team. And I think he's made a massive difference to West Ham. And obviously, yes, it looks like they're not going to get top 4, but I think Jesse Lingard, especially for West Ham, with a few other players that were close in my top 3 from West Ham, he's made a massive difference and shown the potential that we knew he had, and he's had a lot of problems. So I
think that's a good thing, Craig. Are you going about hitting the ground running now as a physical fitness, but obviously his mental health's come into question as well that he spoke about. So I think on the back of last week being like Mental Health Awareness Week, I think that it's a really kind of positive vibe to put, a bit of redemption there for him and coming back and proving a point.
Yeah, I think with that amount of time out, Tony, not playing competitive football, it's okay training. Yes, he'll be fit, but it looks like he's just...
You'll know yourself, you just want to play, don't you?
Yeah, you just want to play, but then when you do get out there, you might have a couple of games where you're going through adrenaline and obviously trying to prove people wrong, and then it hits you then, but he's just seemed to got better and better. He's always been a fit lad anyway, and I just think he's been a fantastic signing, and hopefully he may stay at West Ham, or as a Man United fan, would you want him back at Man United? I don't know, but we'll sort of see. But I think he's just been a fantastic signing and obviously proved a lot of people wrong. So number 2 would be Wesley. I hope I say this right. Fofana for Leicester. I think it's looking at it rising up to £30 million.
I'd have just said Mr. Fofana if I was
Mr. F.
Mr. F, yeah. But I think Leicester paid a small fee when you look at transfer fees at the minute. I think they're going to pay up to £30 million for him. I think he can play anywhere across the back 4 or in the back 3. He looks like a top defender. He can come out with the ball. He can defend. And he looks like he's got a bit of pace and he's got that grit that you need for the Premiership. And I think a bit like maybe my number 1, which we'll talk about in a minute, I think this lad can be one of the best defenders in the Premier League in the next few years. I think once he gets a bit more experience and a bit more used to playing in the Premiership, I think this lad can go.
They have really good, Craig. They have really good recruitment at Leicester, don't they? Really good recruitment.
Yeah.
Like I watched the game on, the FA Cup final. Some of them, you're like, where have you come from? Like,
well, it's like all Brighton, isn't it? Like, it's like he's still performing now, and you're like, was he that good a footballer? But
yeah, you talk Kante. How much over? I think it was only about 500,000 for him. Mahrez 250,000. You have a guess how much they'll be worth now in the current market. They'll be worth millions, and that's great credit to Leicester scouting system, like Alex said, that they can find these players from the French league, especially, and they can come and hit the ground running. And I think this lad can be up there with one of the best defenders in the next 4 or 5 years, I think.
Okay.
And then number 1, another defender, very defensive instead of attack like I am most weeks. Ruben Diaz from Man City, signed from Benfica for £62 million. I think that's a snip. I know you speak highly of him, Stu. I just think he's made a massive difference. He's made the sort of difference that Kompany made when he first went to Man City. I think he's made a massive difference this year when City were leaking goals, struggling at the back, and I think he's made the other defenders around him a lot better. When you look at John Stones, his performances this season, I think that's down to playing next to Ruben Diaz. You even look at Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker this year has suddenly found his form again. And I just think Man City defensively as a team are up there with one of the best in world football. And I think it's down to, not just down to him, but I think he's made a massive difference. And talking the same as Fofana, I think Diaz will be one of the best, or if the best defenders in world football in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting top three. Tony, fire away.
Yeah, I've just got to say they had some great choices there from Stu and Craig.
Alex. He's not like this. He's not got this face.
I'm going to say.
Sorry, it's just beer garden weather, isn't it? Anyway, I'll join with a couple of them with myself. I'll kind of go probably Cavani third. I think we've alluded to his fitness levels. If you'd followed him on Instagram before his move, I was pretty confident because he's been strict in his regime and, you know, he's always been all about his fitness. And you can see that as, you know, similar that we've said about Ibrahimovic, another player who's kind of just kept in great shape. You know, the playing mid-late 30s. What's Cavani now, 33, 34. He'll go on for another couple of years, probably end up South America after next summer and then take it from there. So on a free, I know he would have been on massive wage, but his movement's exceptional as a forward. I just hope that Greenwood and Rashford learn from him. Second, join the Diaz fan club. You know, it'd be interesting if he'd come to United instead of City. He might have been the total difference in winning the league. You know, somebody as a foil next to Maguire, as Craig said, brought the best out of Stones, brought the best out of Walker. You know, and even Cancelo as well as the left back. They've been a solid unit as a back five with the keeper, obviously, as well, with Edison in nets. But my number one, I think, because I'm going to go pound for pound, is Thomas Souček at West Ham. I think that he's, even though we just spoke about the impact that Lingard's had at West Ham upon his arrival, Thomas Souček went on loan early doors in 2020, did he last year, for the second half of last season, and then end up, because he did so well, his probably fee went up a little bit to 90 million. But at 19 million, 1-9, then they've got an absolute snip. That's not a lot of money for an established international. And they seem to be recruiting from the Czech Republic quite a bit. You see him as an old-fashioned kind of footballer, isn't he? He's brave, you know, gets his head in, good in the air, in both boxes, as a defensive midfielder and as attacking foil, supporting that front line. So I think that West Ham's success this season has been pretty vital to him. So pound for pound, I'm going to go for Thomas Souček.
Interesting, yeah. He's been he's weighed in with a fair share of goals, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's just come off the goal tally a little bit, but maybe that's because other players have stepped up a little bit more recently. You know, Antonio's come back and chipped him in a couple. Obviously, Jesse Lings has chucked in with more than his first share. So, you know, it's different roles within the team, isn't it? But I know that, especially the first part of the season, he was coming up trumps.
Right, okay, my top three. I think it'd have been a bit easier if he wasn't injured, but Diego Jota is at number 3 for me. He came in to live. If someone had said to me that someone would have come in and knocked Bobby Firmino out of the team before the season started, I would have said you're having a joke. But he came in, he quickly took his place. And I think before he got injured, he had 9 goals in 10 games. Coming up to Christmas, we were top of the league. He got injured. And literally after that, the goals dried up for Liverpool. I think it's a massive loss, him being out for 3 months of the season. He's come back and already he's weighing in with the goals again since his return. He's definitely elevated his game since he left Wolves. He was good there, as Alex said, but since he's come to Liverpool, he's gone up a level. I think it's a bit tough on him that he's been out, because he would have really been a contender for top spot if he'd have had a clean season of being injury-free. But he's going to be at my number 3 just because of missing 3 months of the season. Number 2 for me, I think he's been let down by a lot of his teammates this year, but I'm going to go for Pierre Højbjerg at Spurs. He's probably at the start of the season and going forward when Tottenham were playing well, he was very instrumental in protecting that back four and putting in a shift. He's one of them old-fashioned centre midfielders that puts a right good graft in and wins the ball back. And again, he was good at Southampton, but he's gone to Tottenham and been even better. I think, unfortunately for him, he's been let down by a lot of his teammates this year with lacklustre efforts. But I've been very impressed with him. I think he's a top player. And number one, same as Craig, I think I would probably go as far as saying, I think
I've been chatting a lot, haven't you?
Yeah.
Save you, Tony,
Yeah, he's cut ties with you now. He's with the daddy.
Wanted somebody smaller.
As far as Ruben Diaz goes, I think it's a no-brainer for top spot. I think he's probably the best young centre half I've seen in the Premiership. I'd probably go back as far as Rio Ferdinand, because when Company first come, I don't think he had that sort of impact that Diaz had in his first season. But I think the last time I really rated a young centre half was probably back when Rio Ferdinand came through. I think this lad potentially could take over the mantle from someone like Van Dijk, who's probably the world's best centre half. To be 23 and to have that presence and an organisation. I mean, you look at City. If someone had said to any of us that Laporte would have lost his place in that team at the start of this season, you would have laughed at him because of how instrumental he was for City. And this lad's just swanned in from Portugal, and he's an absolute beast. I mean,
it was 27th centre-back lucky for Pep, though, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. He's not been obviously.
They've gone for a few, haven't they?
But to come in and have that impact and the organisation that he has as well. I mean,
Lies beyond his years.
Yeah, it's very rare that you get a centre half that's that good technically, but also that good upstairs in the brain as well. So, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, it wasn't even a thought process for me. Ruben Diaz is for me the signing of the season.
Do you know what? I'd be interested with him next year, though. I think that Pep's rotated him quite well, hasn't he? He's not used him in a lot of Champions Leagues. He's kind of used Laporte, hasn't he, in the Champions League, and kept him fresh. I think he had a bit of a layoff as well, but it'd be interesting, like, if the fixture pile up next season kind of catches up with him a little bit. They've got a luxury of riches at the moment, haven't they, City? But once that dwindles a little bit, it'll be interesting.
No, definitely. I'll just touch on the Cavani and Jesse Lingard situations. I just think they got going a bit too late for me. I think it was the turn of the new year when they both sort of started coming to life. That's probably why them two didn't probably make the top three for me. I think the other three
later on signings where games have been played.
Yeah, I just think like Cavani's come in since, he's obviously came in last year, but he's really started to come to the fore or to the forefront since the turn of the year. And I think that's a bit like with Jesse Lingard. And I think sometimes we forget the early parts of the season. But I couldn't argue about any of them being in your selections, but that's why they missed out on mine. So just remind the viewers once again, your signing of the season, Alex, is
Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa.
Craig?
Ruben Diaz.
And Tony?
Thomas Souček.
And mine is Ruben Diaz as well. Okay, we're going to move swiftly on to a different subject because yesterday the news broke of a very, what should we say?
High-profile transfer request.
Yes, a very high. You should host this show, Tony. Yes, a certain Harry Kane, arguably one of the greatest strikers on the planet, has decided that Tottenham is for him no more. And who can blame him? It must be very, I consider Tottenham a bit like Arsenal, where as a fan, it must be very frustrating at times to support them clubs with what goes on behind closed doors. It looks like Harry Kane will be moving. We'll go straight down to Tony. Tony, what's your opinion on this? Where do you think he's going to end up?
I think he'll go to City, because I think that's where you've got to go if you want trophies at the moment. It'll be interesting what happens in the Champions League final in the next few days and stuff. But, I think that last week's episode when we touched on the strikers episode with the international strikers, was it the top of the pile there? Aguero was 0.68, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think Henry was with him and Harry Kane's on exactly the same stats, 0.68 goals per game. And that's in a struggling side at times as well. That's been way below par. So I just think if he gets that move, you've seen players sometimes kind of play this card to get a better contract. It's not about that anymore for him. It's about winning trophies, individual accolades. You kind of see him and it's all right, players winning these individual awards, and they are something to reflect on later in the career when they've retired. But for the here and now, it's all about winning that Premier League, the FA Cup, that European Cup, and so on.
Just two questions for you, and just quick fire answers. Would he be the striker that you would pick over any other to come to United? And what would you have a guess at the transfer fee being when he actually goes?
Yes is the answer to the first question, because I think he's established Premier League. Just touching on players like Haaland against City, didn't get much of a sniff, did they? I know that's a different surrounding. They'll get more chances in that City side. But I think as a fee, I think we're looking at £130 million. I think if United are in, they're hunting for him, there could be some kind of deal with Jesse Lingard once again, could want to go down to and stay in London. And also a player like Anthony Martial, somebody's going to have to make way, and it's not going to be Greenwood and it's not going to be Rashford.
Yeah.
So Cavani's got one more year, and then, it's Martial who'd end up going. Maybe that's going to be part of the deal. Who knows? But I think he's going to go to City.
Okay, Craig?
I just think it's been a matter of time. I think Tottenham's poor run over the last year or two, I think this day was coming sooner rather than later. I just think the way they performed in the FA Cup, negative. The way they've been performing in the league, yes, at the start of the season under Mourinho, I thought Tottenham looked good here, scoring goals, beating Man City, scoring 3s, 4s. I just thought, Tottenham have got a great chance to make the top 4 this year, and for some reason just went backwards. And I just think that's obviously the main reason why Kane is gonna leave. I just think the ambition of Tottenham's not there now, or I don't think it's been there very often anyway. I think he's just been sort of playing it along and just hoping that they get to where he wants to be. But unfortunately, Tottenham are way beyond the top 4 teams at the minute. And I just think for him to leave, he has to, obviously for him to go and win trophies, he has to leave Tottenham. So, and for me, I think there's only really 2 teams he'll go to, Man United or Man City. And I think financially and the way Man City are playing, he'll go to Man City. But when you just look at it, the amount of chances Man City create with a Harry Kane playing. And also, we had a conversation at work today regarding Kane when he's playing for Man City. He's not going to have to play week in, week out like he does for Tottenham every game, Saturday, Wednesday, whenever. Yeah, he ain't going to have to play every week. So, and also, and he suits, I think, the way Guardiola plays as well. He likes to come deep as the number 10 or even deeper. And as you've seen this year, Man City don't always like to play with an out-and-out number 9. So I think Harry Kane will suit the way Man City plays. And I'll be honest, if Harry Kane signs for Man City, you might just give him the league straight away.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it, really.
What do you think transfer fee?
I think Mr. Levy will demand a lot of money. And I think, like Tony says, I think it could be from about 130 to 160, 170. I'm not really sure.
You don't think it's going to be interesting though, Craig? We don't know the conversation that's been had, do we?
Yeah.
We don't know what's in the contract. I don't think there'll be a release clause, but there must have been a conversation had previously, because I think that this is 12 months delayed, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a gentleman's agreement, what we've heard or you sort of hear between the two, but he's going to... Mr. Levy will want as much money as he can, and I think it will be. I think I'll go and just say.
Are you after a job from Mr. Levy?
Yeah. I pity I ain't a striker like Harry Kane. I might be able to get in, but I think around 140, 150 million he'll go for.
Okay, personally. Alex.
Yeah, I think I reiterate what they all said, but it was coming, and he's probably got one move left in him, really, hasn't he? This is the time, really, because he stays at Tottenham for another season. You don't know what's going to happen. And it is 2 clubs. I did think when it first came out, could he move abroad? but I don't think that will happen. I think it is between City and United. I think the thing about him is he can just score goals, can't he? Just every single time that ball, he's in the right place, right time. I think, if he goes to City, Jesus, but
he's already there.
What frustrates me? And I know he's really probably frustrated as a player that he hasn't won and all this kind of thing. But Tottenham frustrate me. They really, really frustrate me. Daniel Levy frustrates me.
It's Mr. Levy to you.
Yeah, Mr. Levy.
But I just think it's, for a player, you must be really frustrated. But there must be all sorts that are going on at that club behind the scenes that are affecting things.
I think it's the stadium, Alex. They paid all that money for the stadium and then they didn't get Champions League. And I think...
I was going to touch on that because the games were allowing fans back in the stadium now. And, they're allowing fans in. They're charging them 80 quid.
Yeah. And the highest ticket to the Prem?
Yeah. Burnley charging nothing, nothing to go and watch Liverpool, right? Burnley not charging fans anything. And I just think, I look at it and I've watched them programs on Amazon Prime of the behind the scenes, and he's involved, he's always there in the manager's office. He's always about. And I think he'll dig his heels in with Harry Kane. I don't think he's a nice businessman. I know there'll probably be a gentleman's agreement, but it won't go easy.
No chance.
No, I agree with you. What sort of fee do you reckon we're looking?
I think it'll be, I'm going 180 million.
Right. Okay.
I'm going really high. I'd probably go around, the 150. But I just think the way he is, he'll get as much money as he physically can. And do you know what really gets me mad about this? Because it could go the other way and he ends up staying at Tottenham. Because he basically digs his heels in that much, asks for far too much money, misses transfer deadline day, the move never happens, Harry Kane stays at Tottenham and then never wins anything.
Yeah.
It'd just be really frustrating.
I think a team, whatever the price, will pay for him. Personally. Yeah. I just think when someone that good becomes available, you have to sign him. Simple as that.
That leads me, Craig, to say exactly the opposite to what you and Tony have. Man United cannot afford to let that fall through the fingers with Harry Kane. And I think the stature of Man United, the money that you do have if you wanted to spend it, I can't see, especially with Haaland is obviously, his agent is Raiola. United won't deal with another player he has again. I think for Man United, this is a must. And because of that, that's where I think he'll end up. It wouldn't surprise me with Real Madrid being linked with Mbappe. It wouldn't, and obviously Neymar signing a new contract at PSG. It wouldn't surprise me if Barca showed an interest in Harry Kane. And because it'd be going abroad, that price might be cheaper than it would be to a Premiership club. Now, Barcelona, they've lost Suarez. Messi's 34.
I have heard, Stu, sorry to interrupt, but I've heard today the deal's done with Aguero.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. I think last week I said Aguero linked to Barca. Well, if that goes through, obviously that rules them out. But it puts it in a straight race for me between City and United. And like you said before, if City get Harry Kane, it's the writing's on the wall. So Man United have to get the balls out here and go checkbook out, bang. And
it's also an opportunity, Stu, for the Glazers to kind of see how sorry you are. If they don't plan on selling the club, which I don't think they do. Yeah, it's a great point you make, and it might be just a little bit. Well, here's the money for Harry Kane. Here's a blank check.
I just think, Stu, sorry, that doesn't matter what Man United want to do, how much money they're going to offer. I think if there's a choice between Man United and Man City,
he'll go City.
Harry Kane's choosing Man City. Simple as that. Yeah. And you can say about Man United need to do this, need to do that. On a footballing point of view, and I know probably why they will chase Harry Kane, if it's a choice between Man United and Man City, and Man City are interested as much as Man United are, he signs for Man City. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, though. For me, Man United, as soon as that final whistle goes, that last game of the season, contact, bang, here's 130 million, we want him. Be the first to make the move, because it does make a difference, so Craig, sometimes, because if you look at Virgil van Dijk, right, we wanted Virgil van Dijk and it didn't happen straight away, and then I think it was Man City came in for Virgil van Dijk with a similar bid, but he said Liverpool showed the interest first and he honoured that and went to Liverpool. But this Harry Kane saga reminds me of Steven Gerrard. It's the same age when Chelsea came calling for Steven Gerrard. He literally decided to go. And then, obviously it turned about. Harry Kane has pretty much done the same as Gerrard did, where he gave him that extra season and then gave him another one. And then, that's what it's happening now with Harry Kane. But I honestly, for me, I can see Harry Kane in a Man United shirt next season. I think that he'll go there. So whether I think
the thing is as well, I think what we touched about, that you go Man City, you would, if they were, but Man City are likely to sign other players, and they'll probably have access to players that Man United probably won't have access to, in the transfer window.
I think whoever signs Kane, the other team then sign Haaland. That's my opinion.
But I can't see Man United ever dealing with that Raiola again. After what's happened with Pogba, and how he's come out publicly a few times now and spoke about Man United, saying Pogba wants to leave, really just desettling the whole squad with his crap. So for me, I can't see Man United dealing with anything to do with that agent again, which for me rules Haaland completely out of going to Old Trafford. I don't know what you think, Tony.
Yeah, I concur, Paul. I think that, he's a bit of a vulture. I'll probably not say as strong as what Simon Jordan calls him. But, they're all valid points. It's going to be an interesting one, especially that the rumour is that he wants it starting before the Euros, because I think that Tottenham will gamble that he has a good Euros.
Put a few quid, yeah. I think it's sorted already. I think, like you said, him to say before the Euros, I think it's more or less a done deal, or he knows where he wants to go.
It was interesting to hear Roy Keane the other week when he went, he wants United. He said that, didn't he? He was like, no, he wants you there. So I don't know. I think we've narrowed it down to the right clubs. I mean, Christ, I'd love to think Liverpool could be up for it, but our owners only buy young players. So
I just hope we can play centre half.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
See, Tony, just a quick one. If they sign Harry Kane, Man United, do they then win the Premier League?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
No, they need to. I think they need a few more players, don't they?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's
3. A centre half.
Someone just answer a question for me. Sorry. Has anyone inquired about Lewandowski ever? Has anyone tried to sign him?
Yeah, I tried to sign him last week myself.
I think with Lewandowski being 33 now and stuff, I think he's just always been happy in Germany, hasn't he? I think he's just
content, successful, content.
I mean, I think over the last 3 years, him and Harry Kane, you're probably talking the best, two of the best goal scorers out there, aren't you?
He's definitely.
Fellas. Go on, sorry, Craig.
No, I was just going to say about Lewandowski. I think he's got better with age as well. I think the older he's got, the more goals he's scored, and I just think, I would have loved to have seen him in the Premiership, but I don't think we will.
I found it funny, Craig. Like, obviously, he has got better with age, but there's never been a rumor about him. There's never been that.
I think it's interesting. I think German football probably.
There's a lot of integrity in German football, isn't there? There's a lot of integrity.
It manages itself.
Yeah, I think a lot of the clubs in Europe and a lot of the countries could learn a lot from how Germany, from how they treat the fans with ticket prices to everything. Yeah, isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like, no, maybe not. Right. Thank you very much, chaps. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed this episode. Yes. I'm going to let Tony Lewis pick more subjects to speak about. So thank you for joining me. As always, I hope you enjoyed the episode of Balls to It. If you disagree with our opinions, tell us yours. If you think we're full of shit, tell us. Doesn't matter. We'll see you next time. But for now, thank you, fellas. I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Hey, boys.
Cheers.